live. Live in a living color. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's make sure. Let's check the UV tubes. Make sure we're live. There's my glasses. There's my glasses. Yes, good. All right. All right. All right. Let's make sure the microphone's working. Okay, audio is working. Good. Let's make sure we're live on the X. Are we live on the X? Make sure. Yes, we are. Perfect. All right. Are we live on the Twitch? Let's make sure we are live on the Twitch. All right. We are live on the Twitch. All right. All right. So, there we go. All right. So, I think we are live on the Twitch. Okay. Yes, we are. Okay. Give us just a second, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get some announcements going. Let's get the announcements going. Oh, one of those. Hold on one second. Just got to fix a glitch real quick. Ooh, there we go. Alrighty. Let's fix these glitches here because sometimes these glitches pop up. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, right. All right. Let's see here. All right. Okay, there we go. There we are. All right. The little glitches have been fixed. Everything looks good. Okie dokie. All right. There we go. Yes, sir. All right. There we are. Okay. All right. That's all set up there. All right. Let's get this over here. All right, let's get these announcements out. How's everybody doing today? Hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are having a great day. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are having a great day. I'm having a great day. Got a great day going on, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir. Every day is a blessing. Yes, sir. All right. There we go. All right. Okay. All right. We're all set. All set there. Let's get everything going on in the announcements. All right. Got that there. All right. Got this going on right here. All right. All right. There we are. There we go. Right there. Boom. Right there. All right. And then let's see here. There we go. Okay. Boom, right there. All right, there we go, right there. All right, all right, all right. Let's get this over here. All set up. Boom, right there. Okay, and right here. Boom. There we go. There we go. All right. Let's share this up on the YouTube tubes. All right. All right. There we go. All right. There we go. All right. All set and ready to go. What's up, guys? It's Double Nicks, and welcome to another episode of Microcap Mornings. I am your host with the most. They call me DBL Nicks in the house, aka the Rainmaker. And I am here with the lovely Serengeti specialist herself. She likes to hang around the tall weeds, the high trees, the low seas, hitting them high knees. Sometimes she likes 2 cups of coffee. Other times she likes to jet ski. Sometimes she likes to regular ski. Other times she likes to get shot at the cannon and she goes, wee! Other times she likes to go to RBs and watch videos of puppies and kitties. Sometimes she likes to go to Wendy's. And sometimes she likes to go and chill and go into the stock market and find them ABCDs. She did find some wonderful stocks like VRAX, PMAX, and CMCT. We call her DBL Moms. All right. There we go. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we got going on so far. That's what we got going on. So before we begin, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, because sharing is caring, ladies and gentlemen. Sharing is caring. And of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started over here. Let's get started on some stonks. For example, that we got VRAX, which is now VRAX, which is now up 140%, 140%. Currently up 140%. As of now, it is still running. It has been running the entire time. We called it earlier this morning prior to the 140% run. And we're actually going to get some support and resistance lines right over here, right there. And it's still going. 148. There we go. 148%. There we go. 148% has resistance at the 98-cent mark. Needs to break through that 98-cent mark for it to be so much schmexy to me. Actually, for it to be even more schmexy than it already is to me. You know what I mean? So, right now, VRAX has to break above that 98-cent mark. Has to hold above the 85-cent mark and break through 98 cents for it to be even more schmexy to me. So, that's what we got going on right there. That's what we got going on. 149%. That's how high it went. 149. Excuse me. 149%. 149%. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. There we go. All right. So VRAX bagger, baby. We called it on our private Discord. And it shot up 149%. All right. Already stepping into the building. Already there's bagger after bagger after bagger, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying, it just be like that, man. I got it like that. You know what? You know, I got it like that. I got it like that, man. All right. All right, all right, all right. All right. Let's get that over here. Bop right there. All right. Boom. Ooh. All right. All right. All right, all right, all right. There we go. So, that's what we got going on, folks. That's what we got going on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a share party going on. Let's get to 200. Let's get to 200, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 200. VRAX had a nice shot upward, had a nice move upward. It's a bit overbought on the RSI, but it did have a nice move upward going all the way up over here, right over here. Had a bit of consolidation, a little bit over, yeah, and then proceeded to curl its way back up. So let me go over here. Boom, boom, right there. All right. Then proceeded to make an A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. All right. And then proceeded to create a descending wedge right here. So now VRAX needs to break above that descending wedge, hold above 85 cents, break through 98 cents for it to continue to be schmexy to mya. But that's what we got going on with it right now. That's what we got going on. VRAX needs to break the descending wedge and resistance for it to be even more schmexy to mya. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So, as of now, that's what we got going on with VRAX. That's what we got going on with VRAX. We also called PMAX, PMAX. We called that stonk earlier in the day. PMAX ran up a nice 78%. 78%. There we go. We called CMCT. Called this stunk as well. Ran up a nice 52%. 52% right there. There we go. Boom. Right there. All right. And then also, ladies and gentlemen, we called KXIN, which ran up a nice 49%. 49%. Ladies and gentlemen, we are just made different. Just made different, and the early bird gets the cash. Yes, sir. All right. All right. All right. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we got going on. That's what we got going on. So, right now, let's take a look at some other stonks here. There was a stonk that came in recently, CLNN. Nah, looks too choppy. Too choppy, low volume, not looking too schmexy right now. CLNN, too choppy. Needs volume action right there. All right. ARTL, somebody. All right. ARTL is another stonk. Let's see what it's got going on. Shot up like a rocket just now. How high is the volume? The volume and the float are one and the same. Float is 2 million, volume's 2 million, and is climbing its way on up right now. ARTL up 60% now. Up 60%. There we go, baby. There we go. It's climbing its way on up right now. Climbing its way on up. ARTL currently shot up like a rocket. ARTL massive price spike. ARTL has 3 million volume now, 1 million more than the float, so that's good. That's good. That means that the volume's going up a bit. ARTL shot up on a price spike. It looks like it's starting to go back down though. So that's what we got going on right there. Looks like it fell below the trend line and fell below the VWAP as well. So it looks like now it's just shot up and now it's kind of just doing a downward trend here. It's just hooking downward there, so it needs to curl its way back up a little bit. It needs to break that VWAP, ladies and gentlemen, for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. But right now, it just dropped. It shot up nicely, then dropped directly afterwards. So, not looking too schmexy right now. Let's take a look at AHMA. AHMA AHMA doesn't look like it had much in the volume department going on right here. Not much in the volume department, so we're going to just put this over here. All right. Let's see here. Let's see here. All right. AHMA. AHMA needs more volume. Has quite a few indecisive wicks as of now. So we got that going on right there. Let's take a look at KXIN. KXIN on a downtrend needs to break above the VWAPA for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So KXIN needs to break above the pennant, the downtrend, and the VWAPA for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. There we go. There we go. All right. QCLS. All right. QCLS consolidated along the VWAP, trying to break above it. I think it just did break above it a little bit. QCLS just peaked above the VWAP. QCLS just broke VWAP. QCLS just broke VWAP. Needs to keep that momentum, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like it's spiking off of VWAP right now, but it does have a little bit of a top tail going on. We don't like the top tails, ladies and gentlemen. We like the bottom tails. We like the bottom tails, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir. It looks like it's climbing, though, up 28%. We're just seeing it climb right now. It needs some volume. QCLS is moving up on low volume right now. Currently has a float of 4 million, volume of 2 million. So it's got that going on right there. Moving up on some low volume. Can it continue to move up? Can it continue to move up? Needs to remain friends with the trend. QCLS. Let's see what we got going on here with this. QCLS needs to remain friends with the trend. So QCLS needs to remain friends with the trend for it to be so much maxi to me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get a share party going, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 300. Let's get to 300, ladies and gentlemen. 300, 300, 300. All right. So we got that going on right there, folks. That is what we got going on there with QCLS. All right, let's take a look at SPHL. SPHL. Let's see how SPHL is doing. Not a lot of volume, and it's below the VWAP. SPHL. Very low volume and needs to break above the WAPA, and it's very sporadic to top it off. Has unconfirmed H1 earnings due in 13 days on December 16th before market open. So that's what it's got going on right there. SPHL, not looking schmexy with that one. SPHL. Let's see here. SPHL. Very low volume. Needs to break above VWAPA. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. Let's get a share party going on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a share party going on. Share party, share party, share party. Hold on 1 second. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make sure that everything's all copacetic. Is everything all copacetic? Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Boom. All right. Hold on. All right. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. There we go. All right. There we go. Let's get a share party. Let's get to 400. Let's get to 400, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now. Come on now. All right. So let's take a look at another stonk here. Let's take a look at. Let's see. Actually, I think we got a couple of requests. Let me check over here. Let me check. Let me check. Hold on. Let me get into it. Bop right there. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. All right. All right. All right. Let's see here. Okay. So somebody requested BBAI. BBAI. Before we do that, though, I'll check MVLL. What's MVLL doing? Choppy. Falling below the VWAP. Meh. Not schmexy there. MVLL. MVLL needs to break above VWAP and very choppy. Needs volume. Needs volumation for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. BBAI. BBAI. All right. Ooh, choppy. Choppy. Not looking schmexy as of now. BBAI. Barcoding. Barcoding. Needs volume to be so much schmexy to meow, but really, BBAI. You gonna need some work there. QCLS. Let's take a look at QCLS. Hold on 1 second. 1 second right here. All right, QCLS. Hey, QCLS. Come on. There we go. All right, so QCLS went up, then it went back down, and it's curling back up again. So it's got that going on right there. Let's see here. QCLS, boom, and boom. And then it's curling its way back up. So it's got this going on over here. Bop, right there. All right, QCLS curling upward on a descending wedge. A little bit of a descending wedge going on there. So QCLS curling off the descending wedge right now. QCLS. All right, QCLS curling off the descending wedge right here. There we go. Boom. All right. There we are. Let's take a look at some other stonks here. Somebody requested ONDS. ONDS. Let's see how ONDS is going. ONDS is on a very choppy uptrend, slightly choppy uptrend, and now it's kind of consolidating. So we got that going on right there. ONDS looks like it's moving on some low volume here because it did have these moves down. Then it would go back up, then it would go down, and then it would go back up, and it was very volatile. And now it's kind of just consolidated right over here at around the 872 mark right here. So as of now, ONDS needs to break that. It's up 8%. That's about it. That's it really with this stock. It's up 8%. ONDS is up 8% and consolidating. ONDS up 8% and consolidating. All right, consolidating. Needs to break resistance because there is some form of resistance there at the 870 mark, because now it's just going back down and it's not looking too schmexy. 9 EMA is diverging away from the VWAP, so not looking too schmexy with this stock here. All right, let's take a look at SMX. Let's see how SMX is doing. Choppy and below the VWAP right now. SMX choppy and below the VWAP. All right, choppy and below the VWAP. All right. Let's see here. All right. Somebody requested VRAX. VRAX over here. Already called that stonk, but it still needs to break above 98 cents. It is currently has to stay above the VWAP, with VRAX. VRAX needs to stay above the VWAP and continue to curl. VRAX had a nice run up 149%. Can it continue to curl? Maybe we'll have to see what happens there. VRAX, VRAX needs volume to curl and stay above the VWAP for it to be so much maxi to meow. Yes, sir. Let's get a share party going. Let's get the 500. Let's get the 500, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the 500 here. All right, there we go. Let's take a look at QCLS. This was requested for me to check out again. All right, QCLS currently had a nice move upward and then proceeded to make another descending wedge over here. So QCLS still needs to break that descending wedge for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. Let's see what we got here. QCLS needs to break the descending wedge for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. There we go. There we go. All right, all right, all right. So that's what we got going on right there. That is what we got going on. Let's see how ARBE is. Somebody requested ARBE. Let's take a look. ARBE had a very choppy beginning, proceeded to move up a little bit over here. All right, then proceeded to go back down right there, and then curled its way back up again slightly. All right, and then made another move back down, and then proceeded to curl its way back up over here. So ARBE curling and staying above the VWAP right now. It's curling and staying above the VWAP, up 14% right now, up 14%. ARBE curling off the descending wedge and VWAP. Looks like it's up. Looks like it's moving up on low volume though, because it's up 14% right now. Up 14%. All right. All right. Let me take a look at the float and volume. Actually, as a matter of fact, while I'm here. All right. Float is 84 million, so very, very heavy. Volume is 605,000. Yeah, very low float. Very low float. Yeah, it's very low float. Very low float stock. Extremely low float. Excuse me, extremely low volume and high float. Excuse me, right there. It's extremely high float and very low volume. So we got that going on right there. That's what we got going on. Let's get a share party going on. Let's get to 700. Let's get to 700, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, as of now, currently, ARBE is on some very, very low volume. So I don't trust it personally. Me personally, I don't trust it. But, you know, it's up to everybody else. Me personally, I don't trust it though. That's just me. That's just me. All right. Somebody requested SERV. SERV. Let's see how SERV is doing. SERV looks like it is moving downward. Fell below the VWAP right over here. Not looking too schmexy as of now. All right. Has a bit of a pennant right over here. Has to break above this pennant and break above the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. SERV, SERV. All right, let's see here. SERV needs to break the pennant and the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. There we go. Up 8% right now. Up 8%. All right. There we go. Let's get another share party going on. Let's get to 800. Let's get to 800. Let's get to 800, 800, 800. All right. All right. Let's see over here. Let's see over here. All right. So, there we go. All right. Let's take a look at SOUN. SOUN. SOUN, very, very choppy. Not a lot of volume. Very, very low volume, ladies and gentlemen. SOUN, very low volume at this point in time. SOUN, very choppy and bar-coded. Needs volume. That's it, really. It just needs volume. It needs volume, really. Because right now, that stunk don't look too schmexy to me. Let's go on the 5 minute. There we go. that shows it even better that this stock ain't schmexy because it is barcoded. Yeah, it's barcoded a lot. It's barcoded a lot. Last I checked, this ain't Walmart. This is the stock market. So, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going toot and scanning things. That's not what I'm doing. All right. Let's see. Let's see what other stocks we got over here. All right. Somebody requested IRBT. Let's take a look at IRBT. IRBT had a bit of an uptrend, but again, so pretty choppy. Had little to no float earlier in the day prior. Shot up over here. Made a bit of a pennant right here. That's what's got going on right there. All right. So, as far as that's concerned, IRBT, iRobot Corporation, has news that shares of robotics linked stocks are trading higher after political reports said that the Trump administration is considering issue an executive order on robotics next year. All right. So, they got that going on right there. There is a 16% upward. It's 16% up right now. So we got that going on right there. Needs to break the pennant. Needs to break the pennant over here for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. But right now, IRBT. I think it could use more volume, truthfully. Let me actually take a look and see if they're... Let me take a look at the float. Float is a little bit heavy at 22 million. Volume is at 1.47 million. So we got that going on right there. Call it 1.48 approximately. So right there, not looking schmexy because it shot up on low volume there. IRBT moved up on low volume, needs to break the pennant. Moved up on low volume and needs to break the pennant for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, VRAX. Let's see how VRAX is doing. VRAX. VRAX. All right, so VRAX is still flirting with that little VWAP area right there. It's still flirting with the VWAP area. Really needs to break above that 87-cent line and then break through $1.01 for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. That's what it needs to do right now. VRAX, VRAX, needs to break the pennant and resistance points for it to really be somewhat schmexy to mya. Did have a nice 149% run, but we'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see what happens. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Somebody requested RR. Okay, RR. Let's see how RR is doing. RR had a bit of a move upward. Again, another robotics company right here. Again, this is all moving because there are shares of robotic linked stocks that are trading higher after a Politico report said that the Trump administration is considering issuing an executive order on robotics come next year. So right now, it's moving up because of that. All right. Has a bit of a double top going on right here on RR. A little bit of a double top right here. Bop right there. All right. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. All right. So, as of now, RR needs to break through that double top, needs to remain friends with the trend right over mya. Boom, right here. Yeesh. So, RR needs to remain friends with the trend and break that double top, right? RR needs to remain friends with the trend and break through the double top right there. So that's what we got going on, folks. That's what we got going on. Ooh, just stretching here. Whew. There we go. All right. So RR currently doing his thing right here. Currently doing his thing. All right, let's get a share party going. By the way, let's get to 1100. Let's get to 1100, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash. The moolah, the loots, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you, are currently moving up a little bit, up 15%. Let's take a look at the float and volume right here. All right, float is very, very heavy at 157 million. Volume is 3.69 million. Now it's 3.74 million right there. So, not feeling that either. All right, so let's see what we got going on right there. Let's see what we got going on. All right. Hold on. Ooh. Stretching the old back. There we go. That's the stuff. Ooh. All right. Let me get some water. There we go. Ooh. Right there. That stuff right there. That's that good stuff. Should know about that. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we called quite a few stonks today. We called VRAX up 149%, PMAX up 78%, CMCT up 52%, and KXIN 49%. So that's what we got going on right there. That's what we got going on so far for the day. But right now, we got even more. We're looking at even more, man. We're looking at even more. That's what we're doing right now. We are just looking at more and more and more. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay. Hold on. There we go. There we are. So, as of now, that's what we got going on here. CLNN. All right. CLNN, very, very choppy as of now. Needs to stay above the view up on a bit of an uptrend on low volume, but very choppy. So CLNN on an uptrend on low volume, needs to break the looks like it broke the consolidation actually. So it's currently on an uptrend on low volume right now. Let's see what happens with it. CLNN, it do be like that sometimes, so we'll see what happens there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1300. Let's get to 1300, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it. All right. All right, so as of now, we are currently looking at CLNN, currently moving its way on up slightly, It's curling nicely right now, curling right now, very, very nicely. So we'll see what goes on with this stonk. We shall see what goes on with this stonk. All right, let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1400. 1400, come on now. Yes. All right. CLNN currently curling its way on up right now. There we go. Up 42%. CLNN up 45%. Climbing its way on up. Again, has a bit of a low float. Going on here. Actually, the float is 7 million. Volume is 103 million. So it's moving up on some low 103,000. So it's up on some low volume right now. So it's just basically doing its thing right now. And yeah, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing right there. So that's what we got going on. All right. So CLNN needs to break that double top right there for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. All right, let's see what else we got. Let me add them. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1400. Ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it. Yes, sir. All right. Okay, so what else we got over here? Let's see. Okay. So, as of now, let's take a look at a couple of other stonks here. Let's take a look at IRBT. IRBT. IRBT curling right now, curling off the pennant right here. A little bit of curlage going on there. Again, these robotics linked stocks are trading higher after a political report said that the Trump administration is considering issuing an executive order on robotics next year. So it's got that going on right there. IRBT curling off the pennant right now, curling off the pennant. IRBT. All right. IRBT curling above the pennant right there. Yes, sir. Curling off that pennant. All right. Okay. So, what other stonks do we have, ladies and gentlemen? What other stonks do we have? Let's see. Let's see here. Let's see here. All right. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1500. 1500, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now. All right. Let's see here. Yes. Yes. All right. For a second, that was a. I don't really want to look at that one. All right, let me take a look at ASST. That's a crowd favorite. ASST. All right, ASST currently still very choppy, still barcoding, still needs volume. ASST still needs still needs volume to break the barcoding right there. It needs to break that barcoding for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. All right. BYND. Let's see how BYND is doing. BYND is a fan favorite, also choppy, also on a very interesting little excursion of barcoding. BYND needs to break the bond, the not the bond, the barcoding. Needs to break the barcoding right there. BYND needs to break that barcoding for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1600. Let's get to 1600 over here. Let's see what we got going on. What we got. All right. Let's see here. All right. So, as of now, currently, let's get to OPEN. Another crowd favorite. All right. All right. Let's see here. Needs to break the pennant right here, but it fell below it had to break through that pennant, but then it fell down below it. So OPEN currently needs to break the downtrend right there. It needs to break the downtrend. OPEN needs to break the downtrend. All right. OPEN needs to break that downtrend. And that's pretty much it. It needs to break the downtrend right now. It needs to break the VWAP as well. So we'll see what happens there. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 1700, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 1700. I was just looking through something here real quick. All right. Somebody requested BLNE. Let's take a look at BLNE. BLNE not looking schmexy as of now. Very, very barcoded. BLNE needs volume to break the choppy. It's not even barcode, it's just choppiness. I'm just so used to saying barcoded, but it's not barcoded. It's just choppy. Very choppy. A lot of indecisive wicks, which indicates a low volume. You know what I mean? Low volume. All right. All right, all right, all right. There we go. All right. So, as of now, currently, let's find some other stonks here. Let's see. Let me see what we got here. Let me see what we got. What we got? What we got? All right. All right. So, currently, as of now, let's see here. Someone requested CAPR. Okay, we'll do that. Why not? CAPR. CAPR. Let's see how CAPR is doing right now. CAPR. Not looking too schmexy right there. Not looking too schmexy. CAPR has news though. The Capricorn Therapeutics shares are trading higher. Not really. Doesn't look like it. Could have fooled me, but okay. The company announced top line results from its phase 3 Hope 3 trial evaluating deramiocell cell therapy for Duchenne muscular dystrophy met in its primary endpoint and secondary cardiac endpoint. So here we go. Mm-hmm. All right. All right. All right. All right. So let's see here. Currently, CAPR looks to be moving downward. Again, announced top line results from phase 3 Hope 3 trial evaluating cell therapy for Duchenne muscular dystrophy and met its primary endpoint and secondary cardiac arrest. So, we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. All right. So, as of now, CAPR, not looking too schmexy right here. Somebody requested SMOL. SMOL, I think that's a sub penny stonk right there. It doesn't let me see it. Don't worry, it's fine. We'll take a look at something else in the meantime. SERV, SERV. All right. SERV. All right. Needs to break above this little descending wedge right. Yeah. All right. All right. So, as of now, currently, SCRV needs to break above this pennant, this descending wedge right here, for it to be somewhat schmexy to mia. All right, so needs to break that descending wedge right there. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 2,000, ladies and gentlemen, 2,000. SERV needs to break the downtrend because now it's just a straight up downtrend SERV. So we got that going on right there. Womp womp. There we go. All right. Let's take a look at PMAX, PMAX, PMAX. PMAX still on the downtrend. Still needs to break above the VWAP. Needs to do those things for it to really be somewhat schmexy to me. All right. PMAX, PMAX. All right. Needs to break the downtrend and the VWAPA for it to be somewhat schmexy to mia. There we go. All right. Let's take a look at KXIN, see how KXIN's doing. All right. KXIN up 25%. Still needs to break above the VWAPA. Still needs to do that for it to be somewhat schmexy to mia. All right, KXIN, KXIN. needs to break the downtrend and the VWAP. All right, so let's see here. All right, so let's see about VRAX. How's VRAX holding up? Let's see how VRAX is holding up right now. Let's see how it's holding up. Let's see how it's holding up. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 2,000. Looks like it's trying to stay afloat here. Looks like it's trying to. It broke through the resistance a little bit. It looks like it's feeling a bit better. We'll see what happens there. We shall see what happens. All right. So, as of now, VRAX is currently trying to curl a little bit. It's currently moving away from, it's moving up off the VWAP there, which is a good sign, but it still has a ways to go. VRAX Biolabs Group shares are trading higher after the company announced clinical progress and intends to report clinical data from its UK PAIS trial in 2026. So that's what they got going on. That is what they got going on there, ladies and gentlemen. Man, everybody's looking towards 2026, man. We still got Christmas. Christmas ain't even here yet. Everybody looking at 2026. It's just like, when Thanksgiving ain't here yet and everybody's looking at Christmas. But now Christmas ain't even here yet and everybody looking at New Year's. I'm just like, oh, whoa, relax. One thing at a time. One festive fervor at a time. You know what I mean? Yeesh. So, yeah. Right now, just chilling. That's what I'm doing. All right. So, right now, taking a look at, let me take a look at AHMA while VRAX does its thing. All right, let me just write here. VRAX needs to remain above the VWAP. Yes. All right. All right. All right. So, as of now, currently, there's KXIN and QCLS. So, let's take a look at QCLS, see how it's doing. QCLS did form a bit of a descending wedge right over here. Right there. And then started curling up again. It's peaking above the VWAP slightly. All right, so QCLS curling above the VWAP, curling off the VWAP right now. All right. QCLS curling off the descending wedge right there. Yeesh. All right. All right. So, as of now, QCLS needs to, it's just curling off that descending wedge, peaking above the, it's not there yet, but it's peaking above the VWAP. At one point, it was like kind of peaking, though, like peekaboo. You know what I mean? A little bit. All right, let's get a share party going on. Let's get to 2200. But QCLS is currently above the VWAP by like a little bit. So, yeah, that's what we got going on. All right. All right. So, let's take a look at VRAX seems to be trying to curl its way back up a little bit. VRAX, VRAX. All right, and we are just about 15 minutes away from the bell. The bell. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 2200. Let's get to 2200, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it. 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 Yeah, let's get it. Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah. All right. So, VRAX still kind of, I guess, contemplating its life choices at the moment. VRAX Biolabs Group shares are trading higher after the company announced clinical progress and intends to report clinical data from its UK PAIS trial, its UK PIES trial in 2026. So, yeah, a lot of stuff going on in 2026 with these thingies going on there. Yes, sir. All right. So, as of now, let's take a look at another stunk right here. What are the stunks we got? Somebody requested PLRZ. Okay. PLRZ. PLRZ. PLRZ still down 11%, but is on a slight uptrend right now. I don't really know what to say about that other than it's on a slight uptrend as of now, PLRZ, but nothing really major is going on. So, nothing really major going on there with PLRZ. Just gave the back an old crack. There we go. PLRZ on an uptrend. Let me take a look at the float and volume. Float is 1.042 million. Volume is 904,000. So the volume is starting to slightly climb up to that of the float, but it's not there yet. So PLRZ is moving on low volume, on an uptrend off of low volume there, ladies and gentlemen. PLRZ on a low volume uptrend. There we go. There we go. All right. There we are. PLRZ on a low value uptrend right there. Low volume uptrend right there. So, yeah. All right. All right. So, as of now, we are currently checking that out right there. Checking it out right there. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 2300. 2300. Let's see what we got going on over here. PLRZ still shooting up again. This stock is redonkulously high, but it's still down 8%. So, man, we'll see what happens there. We shall see what happens. All right. So, let's see what other stocks we got over here. What other stocks do we have over here? All right. So, oof. All right. Somebody requested V-Wave. V-Wave. Right now, I'm just looking at PLRZ. It is moving up, but again, it's one of those stocks where it's like, the volume's low, and it's still down. All right, so right now, currently, there is quite a bit of movement going on here. Quite a bit of movement going on with PLRZ, but it's going back down. It's going back down. So let's take a look at KXIN. KXIN looks like it's currently trying to stay above. Well, it's currently below the VWAP right now. So right now.